Today's episode is sponsored by Lime Bike. What should we expect from Stranger Things 3? Now, before we even get started with today's episode, spoilers! Obviously. With our bellies full of Halloween candy and our Netflix queues full of fresh new Stranger Things episodes to binge on, we're already looking past the events of number 2 to figure out what may be in store for number 3. Now, executive producers Sean Levy and Dan Cohen said they know the setting and the key points of the next volume, but are wisely keeping things under wraps. But from what we've seen in Stranger Things 2, we can already see some Stranger Things lining up for Stranger Things 3 when the show returns. First off, Levy and Cohen already let it slip that there will be a time jump like the year that passed between Stranger Things 1 and 2. It'll just get harder and harder to hide the fact that these kids are growing up fast, so rather than have the actors play younger, they'll let the characters grow up right alongside of them, the way that Harry, Hermione, and Ron grew up throughout the Harry Potter films. Now, the Duffers have said they didn't want to leave a bunch of cliffhangers like they did at the end of season 1, and they did manage to wrap things up pretty neatly while leaving some possibilities at the end of this season. So with a time jump pretty much guaranteed and fewer cliffhangers to clue us in, what do we think we'll see in Stranger Things 3? Well, first up, the Mind Flayer. While the team was able to stop the shadow monster, they didn't actually kill it. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Ross Duffer said they've shut the door on the Mind Flayer, but not only is it still there in the Upside Down, it's very much aware of the kids, and particularly Eleven. It had not encountered her and her powers until that final episode. Now it knows that she's out there. So could we see a rematch between Eleven and the shadow monsters? It almost seems to go without saying that we will. As we saw at the end of episode 9 with the Mind Flayer hunched over the school in the Upside Down, scored perfectly to the police's every breath you take, it's watching her. We will also probably see more of Eleven entering the outside world. After the suggested additional year of laying low while the dust settles on the Hawkins lab infestation and news story, we'll see Eleven emerge from obscurity and start to lead a more normal life. In fact, that diner scene between Chief Hopper and Dr. Owens may have been the Duffers straight up telling us when exactly they'll pick things back up. And a year from the closing of the gate and the snowball will bring the kids to yet another new scary dimension: high school. Everybody's favorite time in life. With the AV club moving into 9th grade, having to navigate a whole new set of bullies that will make the Mind Flayer look as harmless as a pollywog. And moving on to Will Byers, who has been exorcised of his demonic dust bunny possession, actor Noah Schnapp, who plays Will, isn't convinced his character really is free of the Mind Flayer. The Duffer brothers say he is, but we think that Noah makes a fair point. He will always have at least some lingering effects from his experience, whether it's physical trauma or emotional. But if the Mind Flayer really is done with Will, there might be a couple other people it could try to use to get back into the human world. Hopper and Dustin were both exposed to the Upside Down's spores or toxins or dust or whatever gross thing they both got sprayed with while in the tunnels, so they could potentially act as gateways or incubators for a shadow monster comeback in the next sequel. Episode 7, The Lost Sister, also brought up some potential story points that could be explored more in Stranger Things 3. Eleven's lab sister, Kali, is presumably still out on her revenge mission and might come back into the picture to re-recruit little sis. We could even see more of this family of lab children, and in this episode, Eleven also found out that Dr. Brenner, the former head of Hawkins' lab who put her through years of torturous experiments, is still alive somehow, even though the last time we saw him in season 1, he was being pounced on by a Demogorgon. We can't imagine Eleven will resist trying to find him at some point. But what do you folks think? Will the demo dog in Joyce's freezer come back to life? Will Mike and Eleven go on a double date with Lucas and Mad Max? And will Billy and Steve just make out already? Let's discuss! And thanks to Lime Bike for sponsoring today's Nerdist News. With Lime Bike's dockless bike sharing, there's always a bike nearby. Check out their sick Halloween Stranger Things inspired short film Stranger Generation. And if you're in Dallas, DC, Seattle, Miami Shores, or other select cities where Lime Bike operates, on Halloween you can help #find Billy and get some goodies and treats. Follow @LimeBike on Twitter and Instagram to help find Billy.